Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning once again. Thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Now, I have a guest with whom we are going to be discussing so much regarding Private Sector Foundation Uganda. I know you could have heard of Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Most of our brothers in the informal sector, when they are there trying to let you know what you're supposed to do to benefit more from your businesses, or even the formal sector, Private Sector Foundation Uganda, when we come to micro, medium, and macro, we've seen them so much there, trying to organize Uganda's private sector. But I'm not the best person to discuss this. With me, I have Ronnie Murongo, who is the Director Work, Performance, and also the Manager, Member Services. Now, he's with me, and of course, he's the man who is going to be answering so many of your questions, what you need to know about Private Sector Foundation, and how has it helped towards national development. Ronnie, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Robert. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm fine, I must say.
And how has the public holiday started?
Well, for us, public holidays, apart from knowing that it is a public holiday, because when it's a public holiday, people are home and they want to watch TV. So we don't get to celebrate public holidays, or they don't mean much as far as not working, but they mean much as far as why that public holiday is there.
Oh,
for
that's
example,
wonderful.
the Janana Lumu public holiday, we know, yes, we have to be patriotic. For the Christians, we have to reflect on our relationship with God, and of course to know that we need to all the time be accountable to people if we are in leadership and stand out to point their pains. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So coming to you,
Yes.
we're going to talk about Private Sector Foundation Uganda.
Yes.
For a person who could be hearing it for the very first time or has heard of it, but you know, you hear of something and you don't take interest. What is Private Sector Foundation and what is your mandate?
Private Sector Foundation Uganda is the apex body for the private sector in Uganda. And we are member-based. That's what is interesting. And we bring together business associations, corporate bodies, and I'll say government agencies that support the private sector. That is who we are. And we have made 30 years, too. And currently, in Uganda, we have, we have over 340 business associations, the corporate bodies, and a membership of over 3.5 million under us. With our mandate, we look at policy advocacy. That is one. We go for capacity building, and then we also have business development, and we build partnership. That is who we are in a nutshell. I'll say we are just, a strong PSFU is a stronger private sector, which also means a stronger Uganda economy. And that is a nutshell, a brief about PSFU in totality.
Now, you've talked about a strong Uganda's economy.
Yes, sir.
Throw more light into private sector's role as far as influencing Uganda's economy.
You know, one of the mandates that I've talked about is policy advocacy. I'm looking at in the last financial year, 2025-2026, our contribution to the budget as PSFU with our membership was 82% onto the budget framework paper. And this all government took it on. And when government takes it on, that means you are relevant to the private sector.
What do you mean by 82% of the government's framework paper?
You know, there are certain key issues that the government comes out, especially the Minister of Finance, when they are reading the budget. Now, when they come together, there are those key things that have to be brought together. For instance, before the budget read, now I'll say the budget for 2026-2027, already the process began, and we already sitting down together with our members in the private sector. We are already finding out what are those things that they want to appear in the budget. What do they want government to do in the next financial year? And this alone has come out very soundly, because to us it's an opportunity to give back to our members and also give back to our private sector in general. Now, out of all that totality, you imagine all the that you have collected, you have sat with them, you have deliberated, and you meet government, you sit together with government, and you discuss and say, we need these issues. Private sector says, now we have this issue A, B, C, D. Now, out of all that A, B, C, D up to Z, 82% of that was taken upon by government and said, you know what, this is what we're looking at. This is what the private sector is saying. How do we move from there?
Well, Ronnie, I want to believe private sector are people who are doing their own business and contributing to taxation. Now, when you talk about 30 years of private sector foundation in Uganda, and you say you're influencing policies, and about 82% of that was taken, why then do we see members in the private sector seem to be having a number of challenges, ranging from taxation, ranging from imports, you know, fighting with foreign products on Ugandan's market, you know, fighting with foreign investors vis-a-vis domestic investors? They seem to be having a huge number of challenges, yet you're making 30 years. Have you really lived to their expectations?
I'll say yes. We have lived to the expectation of the private sector and the members in totality as PSFU. You know, we work through, I'll say we support our members through sectors, and we have 12 key sectors. These 12 key sectors with no particular order, we have ICT, manufacturing, trade and commerce, tourism and hospitality, transport and logistics. We have professional services, construction and real estate. We have agriculture, agribusiness and forestry, financial services. In totality, they come up to around, culture and creatives, you know, our nightlife is the busiest, the night economy. It's where we have a lot, and I know during Valentine's, the night economy did a lot of wonders. That's where we got a lot of money as a country also. Now, when you look at all these 12 sectors in totality, we work intertwining them together. And with one of our key mandates, as I've mentioned, as PSFU, we have a mandate on business development. And the other thing I didn't tell you, we are the government's key partner, especially when it comes to working with the private sector. And at regional level, we are the national focal point for the East African Business Council in Uganda and the COMESA Business Council in Uganda too. Now, when you bring out the challenges that happen, that manifest within these businesses, what are the key challenges that they go through? There are very many. It may not only be taxation as one of them. There are so many that they affect. Now, one of the mandates of PSFU that comes in the other support is the business development area. We have projects that which we are working with the government to ensure that we support this private sector on those key issues. We start from the youth, we move to the women, we move to other businesses that export. It's an all-rounder, be it in energy, and we support. And we have got the projects, for instance, we are working in partnership with the Ministry of Gender in the GROW project. Then we have the work readiness program, where we are working with the Enable and the EU, who are supporting us, who are our donors, in ensuring that some of the graduates who have completed and need support of employment, we are giving them that support. So as PSFU, we don't only look at totality of one key area, for instance in taxes, as a challenge, but you'll find that there are other areas which affect businesses. Now, most of the time, people will say, I'm facing this because my business is not picking up, the taxes are here. But the question is, did you understand the taxes before getting the product? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But it also manifests on how you're going to bring it in. Did you follow the right procedures before the product could come into Uganda? All these challenges, most of them are followed up. And most of these things, the challenges that affect our businesses, need planning. And we need to plan. And this is what we're telling our businesses, the MSME. Plan for your products as you're bringing them into the country. While for the investment side, we are working with Uganda Investment Authority. As I mentioned, that there are some key business government agencies which support the business. Uganda Investment Authority is one of our members. And we work with them, especially when it comes to looking at the investment outlook in Uganda. What are those key areas that need investment? How do we partner with them? And they are also coming back to us and say, PSFU, how do we work? What are those areas that we feel we can work together to ensure that this moves on into supporting the Ugandan economy?
Okay. Now, let's go to the small businesses.
Yes, yes, yes.
Here in Uganda, you find that the informal sector quite has a huge population in there.
Yes, please.
And they face quite a number of challenges.
Yeah.
Some, they don't have proper records. Some don't even have locations, permanent locations, addresses, and all those very challenges. And these have led them to miss out on very big opportunities because they're asked for paperwork, they're asked for tax records and all that, and they don't have that. As the Private Sector Foundation Uganda, what are you doing to help these small businesses, more so in the informal sector?
Robert, you know, one of the things, something very interesting about our businesses, you know, Uganda, we have a very big, I'll say SME section. And there is a lot to be done before you move a step and start the business fully. And this is where we say one of the things when you're starting your business, you need to do research. You know, research may be expensive to be done, but you can do a simple research on yourself. You know, the challenges we have got with some of our businesses, people who are starting up, they do what we call copy and paste. If something has worked for Robert, Ronnie will say, let me copy I put my own salon next door. Because Robert has a salon. And you're seeing it from the customer inflow of Robert, and I say, oh, as Ronnie, also let me start mine next. And trying to think that I'm going to compete with you and something, but yet you may be at a different level, your market segment is different, and there is a way you are pushing on forward in terms of that. Now, as PSFU, we have come out and said, no, there are certain things we have done. As I mentioned, one of the mandates we have done in our areas is the business development, and we are working with government in some of those projects to support them. Now, I'll say with the most important one for this side is the business training and capacity building. We have done it, and we are still also doing it. You know, PSFU has a business development side in the membership side and saying that, okay, we are looking at our members. What is that area in which we can come out to support our private sector, especially the business person down there? We have moved ahead, as I've mentioned. We do some training, and you have rightly mentioned, some of them is record keeping, simple record keeping. And I tell them, no, look here, let's do record keeping. One of the things is that you will find that your business is having a challenge in records. Most of the time, people don't want to separate themselves from their businesses. You'll find Robert Enterprises, you yourself, your Robert Enterprises, you say you are the gatekeeper, you are the cashier, you are the cleaner, The moment you are not there, that means your business is also going to be closed.
In the name of maximizing profits, reducing expenditure.
And so we say, no, look here, Robert Enterprises, you think about your structure, how you're going to operate. And then you also have to have records onto yourself. So we train you into that area. We train you and support you. Do you do the records? Yes. How is it helping you? You know, even a child, when a child is born, there is a record. My mothers will tell us, I used to, when I was young, surprisingly, recently, I had my immunization card. So it's the same thing, that you have that record to see how the child is progressing in the child's health. It will tell you at this age, this kilogram, at this age. If there's something we miss, the doctors and nurses will tell you, no, look here. Now, a business is the same thing. You have to have those records to ensure that you are looking at it progress or digress. So where it digresses, what is that strategy you have to do to put in? Then we not only go into capacity building, we go ahead to ensure that we work with you. If you have the products, yes, well and good. Now, what is next? The market. But we have worked with you, capacity, you have built your capacity in terms of training, in terms of looking at, for the ones who are doing product development. We work with URI, Uganda Industrial Research Institute. Can I develop my product further? Then next would be market. How is the market? We come into the market line. We look at the market line and ensure that. That's why we have gone ahead to go into our business forums. I'm going to mention that we have one which is going to take place already, of which we are partnering with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Office of the Prime Minister and Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have a business delegation from India and the UK who are around, who are going to move around. They are going to look for joint ventures. They're going to look for areas of investment. They're going to see how they can partner with others. And they're looking for market for their products too. Now, we have gone to DR Congo recently. That was last year, around November. We're in Butembo, getting markets, opportunities. Recently, we also got a challenge, not a challenge, but an opportunity for the Russian delegation that came into Uganda. And the Russian delegation was took place in October before our Independence Day. And what is interesting is that there are some of the products that they need, and yet we here in Uganda have the opportunity to ensure that we take that into another level. You can imagine some of them were testing tea, Ugandan tea, Amajani, which for us we take every day. They were taking tea for the first time. And now this is where they were saying that how do we get this tea into the market? We also had the opportunity of the Somalia business delegates who came in during the time, the Indian business delegation. So we get opportunity to link our businesses into these markets. It may look small, but it is quite key. Now, on top of that, still for the SMEs, what we do is we help standardize those ones who are in product development. We standardize the way we work with UNBS, who is also our member. What is that you can do to ensure that my products are to standard? And through this, it supports, we support them. It helps them, and they grow their businesses into that direction. So for the SMEs, there's a lot that we do. Sometimes it's a plug and play. Where do I fit in? Now, this is possible because we have a blend of products that come in. And we mentioned that, I've mentioned earlier that at PSFU, we have 12 sectors. And each of these sectors don't work in isolation. For instance, if I'm a farmer and I'm in agriculture, I will be in position to handle, I've planted, I've moved ahead. First of all, the seed itself, I will go to and buy seeds from a trader. Good quality seed. I will plant. What do I need to put there? I'll put the nice, go ahead, ensure until I harvest everything post-harvest. But within there, what do I need? I may need a profession in veterinary. That shows you that I'm not, we may call them those ones who have those key services, especially in looking at the products, those ones who have done crop, they will come in to ensure they support me. If I've got some locusts, they will say that, no, you know what, use this right, use this right drug. So each of these professionals of ours come into support. Each of the sectors support. So an agriculturist will look at a professional, we'll look at ICT, we'll go on to look at a trader who will come, a transporter, maybe even we'll look at a financer. So in that twining, we move, we call it intertwining all the sectors for an agricultural person. We build what we call a consortium to help them move together. So that is another area we look at, because within internally, we also do that linkage ourselves and supports the private sector, especially the SMEs.
Okay, support there now. How do they get to you? Because there are quite many.
No, at PSFU, we are available. You can, for those ones who can get us through, we call them the website. You can get us from Ukutu. We are there, which is www.psfuganda.org. Those ones who are good, you know, our phones are not only, let's not use them for only TikToking and what and so forth, but we can do it also through the businesses. Then we also go ahead, and you may find us at plot 43 Nakasero Road. We are very available. You'll find us there, and we give all the necessary support, ensure that we support the businesses.
Well, we are still with Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Its role, what do they do? How can they be of help? Allow me to go for a short break. I return, and I'm still with Ronnie Morongo from the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. what we have banned or what we have stopped is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. It is Good Morning Uganda Extra on UBC TV, and I have the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Now, if you've been with us, we've rightly known what the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda does, and now we want to look at the relationship between government and the private sector. Is it working? Is it yielding tangible results? And this is something, how is the standing so far? You a body that pushes, that brings them together, and of course government that maybe sometimes there's some bargaining or push and pull, whatever it is. So how is this relationship?
The relationship is very good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even in your individual businesses, and this is what we tell people,
mm-hmm.
when you're having your business registered, you are forming your businesses, and it is moving into the environment. That I'm going into the economic environment, and I'm going to do business. There is one thing, there is someone who is, I'll say, there is a partner who is in your business but silent, and that's government. Why do I say government is the silent partner? One, look at the resources that are going to be available when it comes to the security. Government is going to provide for your business environment. Look at the people in town. That is what we call the silent partner in businesses, and that's why you have to pay taxes when it comes to businesses, and then you pay the trading licenses for you to be there, to be supported by government into those areas. So our relationship with the government is very good, and that is very good, and it is also improving, I'll call it that way. And over the years, it has been stronger and stronger, getting stronger. You know, government has realized that one of the key things is private sector has the biggest employment currently. It employs more compared to the previous years. Currently, it is private sector that employs more. And this has moved on to ensure that we get to that level whereby we sit with the government and say, you know what, government, we have a challenge here. How do you support us? How do we move? That's why I mentioned that we get the projects. That projects, government side says, no, we want PSFU to implement these projects for us on our behalf to the private sector. And we're in position to do that as PSFU. So that has been moving on very well, and it's giving us a mileage on top of that.
Now, come to think about it, we are talking about Private Sector Foundation Uganda.
Yes, please.
A body that brings together members in the private sector. But also we have other associations. We have the Kampala Traders, the Kasita. We have there quite a number. Now, how is private sector different from these other traders or associations that bring together the private sector?
You know, PSFU is not a single voice of a sector. As I mentioned, we have 12 sectors in between. So we don't work on a single, like we vary and say, okay, fine. That's why I mentioned that we have agriculture and we have ICT. So when the ICT people have a key issue, we sit with them, we ensure that this is brought to the limelight, who is involved. And on one side, when you have the agriculture people having an issue, and you know agriculture is also another wide one, because in agriculture you'll have those ones who are in animal, and animal is also big. You'll have those ones in poultry, also poultry is big. You'll find that there are those ones who are in the ducks, turkey, and also the value chain. There are those ones who are for the ones who will strictly handle the chicks. There are those ones who are handling the, okay, I'll call them the birds. There are those in eggs, and there are those ones who are handling what I have, I'll say the ones, the chicken, to be eaten. So it's a value chain. And for us, we don't look at a single. We get through the whole. For instance, if we're going to handle poultry, it's the whole, whether duck, whether it is turkey, whether it is chicken, we get through the whole value chain. And we sit together and handle that. Now, also animals, the same thing. We move with them as a whole. Yet you will find that, for instance, you will find that there's Uganda Poultry Association, there's that one who are handling, there are those ones who are going to be in animal differently. But for us, we handle them together. Now, the other ones are single sector, but for us, it's all inclusive. We move together with them. And that has been a very critical thing. We aggregate the voices of those different associations. We work with them, we listen to them, we cooperate them, and present a united private sector position to government in terms of that. So when you hear Kasita, when you hear Futa, when you hear Carrefour, all of them, we sit with them and then we make a united voice that is supporting the private sector. So our strength has been more in coordination, representation, and high-level engagement into that area.
Now that brings me to what are you doing to prepare Uganda for regional and global competition when it comes to businesses? We want to be like the likes of China, to dominate, you know. We want to be that, our private sector, to be that so solid and strong. So what are you doing as the body that is mandated to do this?
Now, you've talked of mandated. We have, as I mentioned, we have a 4-pronged mandate, which is open, and each of these mandates you'll find, if we are to split them, right from policy advocacy, there's a part it plays into what you've asked. Capacity building, it plays a key role. Building partnerships plays a key role. Business development plays a key role. Now, let me split in each of these at regional level and how we incorporate this in terms of global competitions. Policy advocacy. When you look at how our policy unit and department we work on evidence-based research. Now, from the evidence-based research, we sit with the right business people. For instance, if I am going to look at what are the key critical challenges that are affecting the business in areas of trading across borders, and I'm not going to look at only the other business, but I'm going to also segment it further. In terms of research, I'm going to look at the youth, I'm going to look at the women. Now, that is what we do at PSFU. And after getting all that, we sit at, if it is a regional one that is going to involve in the COMESA region, we are going to handle it at CBC level. Now, that's where the policy department comes in, very critical. If it is at the East African level, we handle it with EABC, East African Business Council, whose headquarters in Arusha. Now, what else do we handle into that area? Now, it will come to the other mandate. For instance, if it is going to be your mandate of business development. At PSFU, we have a project which is Invite, which is handling the exports and ensuring that these are export ready. We also have a project we are handling with ITC, training this, especially the MSMEs in the sector of coffee and cocoa. And this is helping them. And we also have even an MSME financing gateway portal where we're partnering with the ITC to ensure that we look for MSMEs to get support. Does it need business development or does it need financing? Now, if you are going to export and trade regionally, what is that? If it is in areas of partnerships, we are working within our regional blocks, ensuring that we partner with those associations. We sign MOUs and MOCs. In DR Congo, we are working in close contact with FEC, which is Federation Enterprise du Congo, for those who want to trade within the Congo market. In South Sudan, then out of the East African bloc, we're going to Turkey. We have an MOU with the DAIC, for those ones who support, who trade within in Turkey. In India, we have an MOU with FICI, which is Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have with CII, Confederation of Indian Industries. In Korea, we have with KOTRA and CII. In China, we do have. In Malaysia, we do have. And also, we are already working together to ensure that we get market within the Saudi for our products, because this is another area where we're going to have our MSME. You know, Saudi has a country, if you look at them, what is that can be grown here and taken there? We're already planning within the few weeks, a couple of weeks to come, we shall be signing an MOU with Saudi Chamber of Commerce to ensure that this thing of our businesses and private sector in Uganda get support in terms of getting market for their products. That is through the business development area. Now, not only that, that's export promotion. We have worked on strengthening the sector coordinations. Each of these sectors, I have mentioned that each of them, you will find agriculture is wide. It has forestry, it has fisheries, it has crop, it has animal. Even crop itself is subdivided. Now, each of these, we're working on sector coordinations. And this sector coordination is helping them build that. If I don't have capacity, for instance, I'm in eggs, and I do not have the opportunity to get market for let me say the products for my eggs, not products, but I'll say the capacity I have is not enough. What is that can be built to ensure that I get that, so I'm able to supply into that market? That means I have to get into others and I work together. Then we are also looking at standards and quality compliance.
That has brought a lot of problems to us.
Exactly.
Where we've had some of our products rejected.
Now, we are working with UNBS on this. And it is an area of what is the standard like. We have a lot that we are doing with UNBS. You know, at the region, we have very good products. At times, what beats our understanding is even ourselves, we don't want to fear buying our own product. But we're telling people our products are good. Ugandan products are very, very good. You find others who are dying to come and have our products, yet for us, we're dying to go and get products from out, and we're saying that. But we say, no, look here, buy Uganda, build Uganda, be proud. And that's why some of these products you find proudly Ugandan. Buy your own product so that it makes it interesting, and that helps you move forward. So on top of that, with the standards, we are doing that with, we are working with the UNBS to ensure that this is working on. And also we're linking Ugandan companies to international markets, as I've mentioned. It's working out for us. And from the Russian delegations, we have already linked. And it is moving out for some of these companies. In Somalia, some of the products are being taken through. And then we're encouraging digital. Now, sometimes we're telling people, use your phone, use the computers, digital. You know, the digital world has come to take on. It has hit some, people had not planned of it, but it came into being.
Yes.
and it is here to stay. Leaving alone this, we have moved from the PO box world now to the digital world. So this has come in to stay, and we're encouraging them. And we're telling them, please, we are promoting our, what I will call investment readiness. So we're telling them, get ready for investments. And also don't work alone. You know, one of the key interesting things is that we have, sometimes we reach a point whereby in Uganda, for instance, if I want to build, I'll say, let me use an example of this pen. You'll find that someone as an SME, you don't have the capacity to build this pen, but you're going to struggle to ensure that you want to do everything all at once. Yet if you worked with others and brought them together, this would support you. So we organized trade missions, business forums, B2Bs. As I've mentioned, there's one which is already going to take place this week that expose Ugandan companies to regional and global players. And this has worked on today. So when you look at competitiveness today, I will say give and take requires a good, I will say, a good quality and innovative way from the private sector in Uganda. And that is the direction we at PSFU, we are supporting, because we want them to compete in that area.
Wanting them to compete. Now, this brings me to ask, what is the biggest obstacle towards the private sector?
High cost of financing. That has been one of the biggest. And when you look at the terms of money, the interest rates, especially for SMEs, this has been high, and there have been. Then the other has been taxation challenges and pressures. Sometimes we feel taxation is a challenge because we don't understand the taxes. Some, not all. They don't understand it, but there is a part whereby they understand it, but then also it is still a challenge on its own. And then some areas we have infrastructure gaps which have come into effect. And I think government, which is working tirelessly, especially right now in the Kampala metropolitan, to ensure that they work on roads. You know, one of the key challenges for infrastructure has been the roads. You find ourselves as the private sector going to work. You spend a big time of your movement, the whole, I'll say the whole cycle, you spend it in jam. But this is coming to, it's moving on, because these are challenges that we have to see, and we move out of it. And that's infrastructure. Then we have global shocks, especially when it comes to there are some which are uncontrollable. These are obstacles that came. No one foresaw, you said, closing, and that was going to affect. It didn't close us, but certain countries fully. Like in Uganda, it closed its operations. And this has affected some of the businesses that were into that area. You'll find that because sometimes some of the people will say, no, that is an NGO and so forth. How does the private sector come in? Yes. There are those other, you'll find that in the real estate, it's affected. There are those ones who had the infrastructure, the people who are around and so forth, they have left. Those professionals who are there have left. Those consultants who are giving consultancy services from the private sector are no longer employed. So it's a very big challenge which is coming on to that. And then another obstacle is the informality we have. And this is where we are trying to work with URISB.
My boys in Katwe there.
Yeah. How do you make your business formal? Because the informality is too big.
You make it formal, they allege you're welcoming taxation. Informal,
that's also another thing also altogether. Because most times people fear, they say, you know what, I rather operate below the... But we're like, no, at times it is good if you know you're going to grow. If you know you want to partner. If you're looking beyond, you're looking foresighted, not today and to how do I... it comes out. You have to ensure that you are formal into that area. And our focus has now moved into lowering more. We are looking at the production costs. What are these, especially those ones who produce? Production costs has been in manufacturing side, has been in some areas, in some of the sectors is high. And how does it move down? And then supporting value addition. This is also another thing. As PSFU, we are working so hard with government and the donors. we are seeing how do we support this and improving access to affordable capital. We are working with the banks and Bank of Uganda into that area. So these are obstacles into that area. And then when it comes to the other area, which looks at the human capital, the human capital side, at PSFU, in one of the projects that we have at PSFU, the Work Readiness Program, especially the human capital, we are working. And this is not only supporting, you know, Uganda itself as an institution, Uganda in totality, when you look at those in certificates, diplomas, and bachelors, for first time, it's channeling around an estimate of around 700,000 graduates from certificate to bachelors, meaning certificate for job. I'll talk of those TVET and everything, and diplomas. So we're around 700,000. So it becomes a challenge when they're getting into the job market. And at PSF, as I mentioned earlier, one of the projects under Enabel, who is our donor, and the EU, the project is dealing into getting experience for these graduates. How do we move them into that? So it's helping a placement form that moves to help them gain experience into some of these job markets. So you find that the project is supporting the company, catering for around 80% of that salary, and the graduate is there for 6 months to gain experience, and then either retained or moved on and gets a new. So those are the things, the dynamics we are working together with the private sector, the donor, and the government. So it's a more of a tripartite.
Well, that said so much regarding the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. I'll just be giving my guest a minute or two for his parting shot. Please, Ronnie.
Wow. My parting shots is more of the private sector, as we at PSFU say, because our slogan has been, business growth is our business. We want to see business growing. How do we work together? We have to come together. You have to work with us as PSFU, work with your associations to work with PSFU to ensure that this moves beyond what we are looking at today. Because in the country we are in today, it's a private sector-led economy.
Yes.
And through this, we have a very big role to play. Because at the end of it all, when you started your business, you're fighting poverty, and this is the way we can work together, because we are a cross-cutting sector to ensure that this is achieved from the side of PSFU.
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie Murongo, who is from the Private Sector Foundation, Uganda, and of course, Sakol, come be part of the Private Sector Foundation. One of the biggest challenge is those in the informal sector. There's so much you miss, but also remember, a good number of businesses in Uganda that start do not make it to their first birthday, and those that make it to 5 are very minimal. But Private Sector Foundation will give you all that is needed for your business to thrive, to grow, and also to be able to tap into bigger opportunities. Have the best of your day. Keep thinking about Janan Lumu, and of course reflect on why this person loved Uganda. And for the Christians, he was a Christian who confessed Christ and loved and lived a Christ-like life. God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.